Here I am with the keyboardists. Only three. Anya's missing today. So, people, you've done the limbering up with regard to all the stretches and everything else. You're all ready to go. How many of you, can read any sheet music?
Very, very slowly.
Yeah.
I'm not good at it.
What about yourself, Amy? Slowly as well? Yeah, just sort of slowly deciphering that.
Then write it down in alphabetical form.
Okay, cool. What about, again, similar to the guitarist, the keyboard is one thing, playing the instrument and the particular sound you've opted for at the moment, which is a piano sound. There's so much variety with what you can do, the bank of sounds with keyboards, and the way in which you can play it, whether it's kind of honky-tonk piano, right the way through to sort of, funk stuff with clavinet and all sorts of stuff that you can apply, 80s kind of synth stuff or whatever, low drones, pads, you name it. There's so many different kind of banks of sounds that are out there. But the capability of being able to then warm up and be able to then just play something. I had the guitarist demonstrating some of their stuff, and it was really interesting because it was things that I'd not heard them play before, and they'd not worked with each other before. And am I right in saying maybe the three of you guys altogether have not worked with each other just yet? Perhaps the first two have, but so one of you, could you give where we've got the chromatic scale, could you give us, one of you, just a demonstration of that, or how you would just warm up?
What?
Give us an idea of what would you do to kind of warm up before you start playing. Nice. And again? Excellent. Would you add to that, or is that enough to have you limbered up? Can you kind of switch up?
Really sorry about that. I don't know what I do, I don't know. That's what I do for hours.
Like that?
I do that for hours.
Excellent. But again, that is showing the rhythmical element of your playing, isn't it? You're using a combination of kind of the low bass notes, root notes, top line stuff, arpeggiated stuff. You might not think you're doing it, but that's certainly what I'm getting from it when you play something like that. You need to have that correct flow, the dynamic attack on the instrument in order to do that. So, great. Shannon, what sort of thing would you do to warm up?
Yeah, I don't really know. Recently I've just been doing A-Plunk because of the amount of people that actually like it. So I've just been kind of like, we've done that so much to them.
Yeah.
Do it.
Give us a demonstration.
Oh shit, no, fine. Literally just that, but I don't normally like.
Cool. So it would be that's kind of a warm up in itself.
Yeah.
Did you find that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Excellent. What about you, Amy? What sort of thing would you play when you first sort of get?
Probably like go through the normal scales or just rock between two.
Give us an example of that.
I sometimes do. It's like the beginning of the Les Mis song. Like just.
Nice. Yeah. Very arpeggiated kind of rhythm there. When you say about some of the other scales, can you give us maybe a demonstration of that?
I'm not very good at that. This is the only issue.
Yeah. Just play it slowly.
To be honest, that's like the only one I mainly do.
And what about higher up the keyboard as well?
What that scale?
Yeah, an octave higher. Cool, like that. How many of you guys actually play chords with your left hand and top line with your right. Yeah? Can you give us just a little burst, just to demonstrate that?
It's very strange on this piano.
Nice, like that. Cool. Are there any pieces of music that you're listening to at the moment that you want to be able to learn, or you're setting your own selves challenges that you want to be able to play it by a certain time that you just keep working on? I know, Moz, you had the piece that you were doing where you were singing and playing, which you've just shown. It's obviously taken that thought process, not just getting that down, but then the vocals simultaneously with it. But I would recommend, if there's pieces of playing that you want to just be able to listen to, or even challenge yourself to increase that speed in which you're able to read some of the music, perhaps get together as the three of you, or when Anya's back in, it'll be four of you can do. I want to be able to do more workshops where you get together and you're working with people you wouldn't necessarily work with, trading a few top tips and sharing a bit of knowledge. That kind of thing would be really, really useful. But I'd love you to listen to some Ruichi Sakamoto. It's a guy that I love listening to from the Yellow Magic Orchestra. Done some beautiful stuff on the keyboard. Everything from really wacky kind of synth stuff with the Yellow Magic Orchestra, right the way through to more kind of classical stuff. A lot of films that you guys have probably seen and not been aware that he's done the music for. But again, what I'll do, I'll start adding some information onto, probably stick it on a Google Classroom, some useful things to look at. Done the same with all the other disciplines from drums, bass, guitar, looking at different ways that I can just stimulate that learning more, setting you guys a challenge, and maybe things that you're struggling with, you just keep persevering, just similar to the other instrumentation. Play something really slow, build up the pace of it, work something out, maybe one hand, apply the other, look to add the vocal to it, because all of you sing as well. And set yourself a challenge to do more performances where it's just you with a keyboard as well. It'd be really nice to do that. On that note, we'll stop the video. Thank you.